the life expectancy of the United States as a nation is much in doubt. Remember, what's happening to the world, especially the transatlantic community, with the crisis in Europe, the crisis in continental Europe in particular, and the crisis in the United States, which are very closely related. What is happening is we are now in a period of accelerating hyperinflationary explosion. How long it will take? When did the crash? Don't know. Too many variables. But forecasting, at the present time, you're on a short fuse, a short leash. If you don't act soon, I don't know how soon, but if you don't act soon, the game is finished. The United States is gone, and after that, the British will be gone. And practically all of Europe, too. You're at that point now.
With the third largest economy in Europe under recent attack by the financial empire, and that same country, Italy, under such heat, passing an austerity budget in record time, that is, the lapse of one day. With the United States facing the threat of a fascist dictatorial coup by the backers of President Barack Obama, and with the nation going down as Obama throws an uncontrolled Emperor Nero fit that things go his way or the highway on the debt ceiling and the war in Libya in complete disregard of our U.S. Constitution? We have this message delivered by Lyndon LaRouche on April 19, 2011, to help remind us that the unfolding of these present events did not go unforeseen. Now, Lyndon LaRouche will rise to the occasion once again this coming Thursday on the 21st to illustrate the danger as it has presented itself in recent weeks, but more importantly, as he had voiced in April 19, 2011, and April 11, 2009, and in fact in July 25, 2007, what must be done to halt civilization from striking a head-on collision with austerity, bankruptcy, and Weimar 1923-style planetary hyperinflation. The weapon for success? Glass-Steagall. To ensure its uncompromising passage? Barack Obama's constitutional removal under Section 4 of the 25th Amendment. And let it be clear. Either we establish that measure as a strict law of the land and extend it to our neighbors in Europe and elsewhere, or the British Empire, under agents like Barack Obama and those of the ECB and EU, will annihilate us, annihilate the institution of the sovereign nation state, annihilate its power to act for the protection of its people, annihilate the great workings of mankind that are long overdue to be born on this present earth. Either the nation state prevails, or the empire will, and take us down with it. As we approach the 10th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks in Washington, D.C. and New York, how can we believe that the U.S., let alone the globe, could prevail under a president who upholds a policy of covering up the crime of what was behind 9/11? In April 2011, by request of the Obama administration, the indictment, United States of America versus Khalid Sheikh Mohammed et al., was dismissed, remember? A case that featured prominently two hijackers who were funded directly by Prince Bandar, the Saudi ambassador, and his wife, Princess Haifa. But even more direct, during his 2008 presidential campaign, Barack Obama had promised, among others already broken, to finally declassify the 28 pages of the joint Congressional report on the 9/11 attacks, which detailed Saudi funding and other support for the plot. On the 24th of June, 2009, Kristen Breitweiser, a 9/11 families activist whose husband was killed in the World Trade Center attack, told the New York Times that she, in fact, was personally promised by President Obama that he would declassify the 28-page chapter of the Congressional inquiry. More than 2 years have gone by. Why have those 28 pages not become declassified? More than that. On May 29, 2009, Solicitor General and now Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan filed a brief before the Supreme Court on behalf of the Obama administration, urging the court to uphold a lower court ruling that families of 9/11 victims could not sue Saudi government officials or members of the royal family or the head of Saudi intelligence at the time of the attacks. Despite the cover-up, some of the contents of the 28-page chapter have come to public light, which includes the fact that 2 known Saudi intelligence officers, Osama Basnan and Ammar al-Bayoumi, provided financial and logistical support to at least 2 of the 9/11 terrorists. Investigations conducted by Executive Intelligence Review confirms that funds were provided to Basnan and al-Bayoumi directly by then Saudi Ambassador Prince Bandar through a banking account at Riggs National Bank in Washington, D.C. Lyndon LaRouche strictly demanded that the president uphold to his 2008 presidential campaign promise and declassify the 28-page congressional document.
10 years after the 9/11 attacks, President Obama continues the cover-up that was launched by former President George W. Bush at the time of the attacks. We know that President Bush was motivated by the need to cover up the crimes of his father's close friends in the Saudi royal family. I suspect that President Obama is acting under direct orders from London, since any unraveling of the role of Prince Bandar and other Saudi royals in the 9/11 events would blow up the entire Al Yamama filthy offshore slush fund that has been financing black intelligence operations and irregular warfare on a global scale since the mid-1980s.
Covering up for the empire at this scale says what to us about their present conduct as the world system careens towards total dissolution? What lengths will they go to preserve the currently dead system, knowing that people do not wish to put up with it? The fact is, this president must go. In his last webcast, LaRouche, then looking at the unfolding process of breakdown, stated that the conditions for a total breakdown of the system was now at play. That process unraveled with the hedge fund attacks against Italy last week, stirring a panic throughout Europe, especially in Denmark, of the growing reality that the Euro system is dead. In the span of just 1 week, President of the Council Herman Van Rompuy held 2, yes, count them, 2 emergency meetings. Now, there is the coming EU summit this Thursday at the time of LaRouche's upcoming webcast, with the European Union officials and financiers screaming of the consequences of a default. But really, more than that. It has gone so far that Jean-Claude Trichet is begging that the EU countries please discipline their use of words when speaking to the media.
There is an absolute need to improve verbal discipline. The governments need to speak with one voice on such complex and sensitive issues as the crisis. If a country defaults, we can no longer accept as normal, eligible collateral defaulted bonds issued by the government of that country, because this would impair our ability to be an anchor of confidence and stability.
The fact that he thinks that even now that they are an anchor of confidence and stability is quite amazing. But perhaps strictly just shows how insane these people really are. Now, in the wake of a constitutional fight in Germany to decide whether the bailout is legal or not, German Chancellor Angela Merkel has announced that she will not bother to attend the European summit scheduled for this Thursday. Is she tired of the bullying? We're tired of the incompetence of our U.S. administration and government. If you want the nation back, if you wish for the spirit of the Constitution to reign across our lands and not withhold its fair beauty, if you wish for the country to engrave upon the hearts of men and women that immortal emblem that speaks of this divine creature's unalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, then take my hand and walk with me. Walk with me down this narrow path, and I promise you not victory, but the mere chance for it. I promise you joy in holding hard to the armor of justice and the sword of sweet brotherhood. Fear nothing and walk with me. For if we succeed in this journey and reach the other side in no matter what condition we shall be left in, generations far beyond our times, far beyond our poor ability to count, will be graceful unto us and say in their moments of crises, of difficulties, of hardships, that they must persevere and persist. For as they found friendship in us, the cause of their hope, they too must serve in the eternal endeavor of humanity. Let it be so. Let us make it so. That's your report for now. Stay tuned for further updates. This is Hector Rivas signing off.